Ever felt like life's just not working out the way you hoped? Like no matter what you try, the results are always the same? If that sounds familiar, it's not you, it's your approach. Today, we're diving into 10 powerful ways you can completely turn things around and start seeing real changes in your life. This isn't about quick hacks or fake positivity. These are principles that work if you work them. Here's the truth: most people aren't really living. They're reacting. And that's why the same problems keep showing up year after year. The key isn't in changing your circumstances, it's in changing yourself. But how? Let's break it down into 10 simple but powerful principles you can apply starting today. 1, embrace the value of self-education. There's a big difference between making a living and designing a life. See, formal education is what we're all encouraged to pursue. It's what society tells us to value. Go to school, get good grades, and find a stable job. Now, don't get me wrong, that's all important. It sets the foundation, but here's where most people get it wrong. They think learning stops there. They get that degree, land a job, and put their learning on the back burner. But that's not how it works. Self-education, now that's the key. It's what you do with your own time. It's what you pursue out of curiosity, out of hunger for growth. And the truth is, it's not just about books, although reading is a great start. It's about cultivating a mindset of continuous learning. The willingness to ask questions and admit that you don't know everything. Because the moment you stop being curious, you stop growing. And if you stop growing, you stop living. So here's the first principle: embrace self-education. Understand that the traditional system can only take you so far. It gives you the basics. But it's your job to take that foundation and build upon it. I think of it like this: school gives you the tools, but self-education shows you how to use them. Now you might be wondering, how do I even start? It's simple. Start with what interests you. Maybe it's business, personal development, investing, relationships, whatever it is, dig deeper. Don't just skim the surface. And remember, self-education doesn't always mean formal courses or certifications. Sometimes it's picking up a book, having a conversation with someone who's ahead of you, or listening to a podcast. Be proactive about it. Create a habit of reading every day. Take 30 minutes before bed or first thing in the morning. And when you read, don't just read for information, read for transformation. Let those words sink in. Let them change your mindset, your habits, your actions. And here's another thing: self-education also involves self-reflection. Take time to think about what you've learned, how it applies to your life, and what you're going to do about it. Because knowledge without action is useless. You can read all the books in the world, attend all the seminars, and listen to every motivational speech, but if you don't act, it's all wasted. So remember this: formal education gives you the basics, but self-education gives you the edge. It's what sets you apart. It's what allows you to achieve more, to see opportunities where others see obstacles. It's what builds character, resilience, and wisdom. In the end, your success isn't determined by the degree on your wall. It's determined by your willingness to keep learning, growing, and evolving. It's your commitment to becoming a student of life. So don't stop. Keep asking questions, keep seeking knowledge, and keep challenging yourself, because that's where true growth happens. 2, take 100% responsibility for your life. If there's one principle that will completely shift the direction of your life, it's this: take full responsibility. Not 50%, not 75%, but 100%. See, most people are quick to blame others. They blame others. They blame their parents, their boss, the government, the weather. It's always someone or something else. But here's the truth: as long as you're pointing fingers, you're giving away your power. Taking responsibility means understanding that you're the creator of your own life, not the victim of your circumstances, not the product of someone else's choices, but the creator. And when you accept that, you gain the power to change it. It's like this: if your life isn't where you want it to be right now, there's a reason. And it's not because of luck or fate, it's because of your choices, your actions. And here's the kicker: your inactions. Every decision you've made and every decision you've avoided making has led you to where you are today. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it's necessary. Now, why is this important? Because the moment you accept full responsibility, you stop waiting for things to change and you start taking action to change them yourself. You stop waiting for the economy to improve or for your boss to recognize your worth or people to treat you differently. You take control. And let's be clear, it's not about blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong. It's not about beating yourself up. It's about acknowledging that you have the power to make different choices, to respond differently, to learn from every mistake, every setback, and every challenge. So what does taking full responsibility look like in practice? It means owning your results, both good and bad. If you're succeeding, great, own that. If you're failing, own that too. No excuses, no justifications. And it also means being proactive instead of reactive. Not waiting for opportunities, but creating them. Not waiting for people to treat you better, but raising your standards. You see, when you take responsibility, you shift from a mindset of I can't to I can from it's not my fault to it's my life, and that shift is powerful. It changes everything. It changes how you see yourself, how you see challenges, and how you approach life. Most importantly, it changes your results, because your life will always be a reflection of your choices. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your choices. And that begins with taking full responsibility. Remember, this life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Every situation, every challenge, every setback is an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become better. So stop waiting for someone else to fix things. Stop waiting for a better economy, a better boss, or better circumstances. Take full responsibility for your life and watch how everything starts to change. It's not easy, but it's simple. And it's the foundation of a successful, fulfilling life. Manage your time like you manage your money. You know, time is one of those things we all have in equal measure. 24 hours, 7 days a week, no more, no less. But here's the catch: how you spend those hours determines everything. It's the difference between success and mediocrity, between a fulfilling life and a life full of regret. Think of your time like money. Imagine if every day you had a bank account with $1,440 deposited into it. That's 1,440 minutes. And at the end of each day, whatever you haven't spent wisely disappears. Gone forever. You don't get a refund and you can't carry over the balance. So the question is, how are you spending it? Are you investing it wisely? Or are you letting it slip away on things that don't matter? Because just like with money, there are two ways to handle your time. You can spend it or you can invest it. Spending is easy. We all know how to do that. It's watching TV, scrolling through social media, gossiping, procrastinating. And it's not that these things are inherently bad, it's just that they don't give you a return. They don't move the needle. They don't help you get where you want to go. But investing your time, that's where the magic happens. It's putting in the hours to learn a new skill, to work on your goals, to build your relationships, to grow. It's making every minute count so that in the future you can reap the rewards. Now, I'm not saying you should be working 24/7 or eliminating all your downtime. That's not sustainable. What I am saying is this: be intentional with your time. Know where it's going. Track it just like you would track your expenses. And then once you've got a clear picture, start cutting the waste. Those hours spent on things that aren't helping you, that aren't adding value to your life, let them go. The reality is, if you don't control your time, it will control you. And you'll find yourself constantly saying, I don't have time, when really it's not about having time, it's about making time. Prioritizing the things that matter and being disciplined enough to let go of the things that don't. It's like this: if you want to improve your finances, you don't just earn more, you manage what you already have. And it's the same with time. You can't get more of it, but you can manage what you have better. And that's what makes all the difference. So think about it. Where are you putting your time? What kind of return are you getting? And most importantly, what do you need to cut out? Take a close look at your daily schedule. Be honest with yourself, and then start making changes. Small adjustments lead to big results. Remember, every minute is an opportunity. An opportunity to learn, to grow, to connect, to create. Don't waste it. Treat it like the precious resource it is, because once it's gone for good. Or learn to say no. Here's something that a lot of people struggle with: the word no. It's such a small word, but it's one of the most powerful words you'll ever use. And it's essential, because every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. I think about that for a moment. Every yes is a trade-off. And in life, we've only got so much time, energy, and focus. So where are you spending it? The truth is, a lot of people are afraid to say no. They think it's rude or selfish or unkind. But the reality is, learning to say no is not just about self-protection, it's about self-respect. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are limited resources, and if you're not careful, you'll spend them on things that don't really matter. Things that drain you instead of fill you up. So how do you start saying no? First, you've got to be clear on your priorities. What matters most to you? What are your goals? What's important for your growth, your health, your happiness? Once you're clear on that, saying no becomes easier. Because it's not just about rejecting things, it's about choosing what's best for you. And let me tell you, people will respect you more when you respect your own time. When you say yes to everything, you spread yourself thin. You end up overcommitted, stressed, and burnt out. And when that happens, you're not really helping anyone, not even yourself. Here's a little secret: when you learn to say no, you're not just protecting your time, you're creating space. Space for the things that truly matter. Space for growth, for rest, for creativity. And that's where real progress happens. Of course, this doesn't mean you should say no to everything. It's not about shutting people out or avoiding new opportunities. It's about being selective, being intentional, knowing when to say yes and when to say no. So the next time someone asks for your time or energy, take a moment to think. Is this aligned with your goals? Does it add value to your life? And if the answer is no, don't be afraid to say it, politely but firmly. You don't owe anyone an explanation. A simple no thank you is enough. It might be uncomfortable at first, but like any new habit, it gets easier with practice. And over time, you'll start to notice something. You'll have more time for the things that matter. You'll have more energy for the people who matter. And you'll feel more in control of your life. Remember, saying no isn't selfish, it's smart. It's about taking care of yourself so that you can give your best to the things and people that matter most. So start practicing. Start saying no to the things that drain you and yes to the things that uplift you. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. 5, build your discipline muscle. Let's talk about discipline. Because if there's one thing that separates successful people from everyone else, it's this discipline. It's the bridge between goals and accomplishment, between dreams and reality. And here's the thing: discipline isn't a one-time effort. It's not something you do once and forget about. It's a daily practice, a muscle you've got to build over time. Now, I'll be honest with you, discipline isn't always easy. There are days when you won't feel like doing what you need to do, days when the bed feels too comfortable, or when the distractions are too tempting. But that's when discipline comes in. It's what gets you to the gym when you don't feel like it. It's what makes you put in that extra hour of work when everyone else is winding down. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't want to do it, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. And the good news is, discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But like any muscle, you've got to train it consistently. You've got to challenge it, push it, and stretch it. So how do you build your discipline muscle? Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself with big goals right away. Focus on one small habit at a time. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier, or reading for 10 minutes a day, or exercising 3 times a week. Whatever it is, commit to it. And stick with it no matter what. And here's the key: keep your promises to yourself. Because every time you do what you said you would do, you build trust with yourself. You reinforce the belief that you can follow through, even when it's tough. And that trust, that belief, is what fuels your discipline. Of course, there will be setbacks, days when you slip up or fall short. That's normal. But don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. Don't let one mistake derail your progress. Get back on track as quickly as possible. Because discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. And remember, discipline isn't just about doing hard things, it's about doing the right things. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter. prioritizing what matters most and letting go of the rest. Because you can be disciplined in the wrong areas and still not get anywhere. So here's the bottom line: if you want to achieve your goals, you've got to build your discipline muscle. It's not a one-time effort, but a lifelong practice. A daily commitment to doing what needs to be done no matter what. And over time, that discipline becomes your secret weapon. It becomes the thing that separates you from the crowd. The thing that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. So start small, stay consistent, and keep pushing yourself to grow. Because in the end, it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. 6, control what you can, let go of what you can't. There's a lot of stress in the world today. Pressure from work, expectations from family, challenges with health. And so often we try to control it all. We want everything to go just as planned, but here's a hard truth: life doesn't work like that. There are things that are out of your control, no matter how hard you try. Think about it. You can't control the weather, you can't control the traffic, you can't control other people's decisions or opinions. But what can you control? Your actions, your mindset, your responses. That's where your power lies. It's not in trying to force life to go your way, it's in adapting to whatever comes your way. Here's what I've learned: most of our stress comes from trying to change the things we can't change. We get upset because it rained on our day off. We get angry because someone else let us down. We worry about things that haven't even happened yet. And all that worry, it's like trying to solve a problem with a broken tool. It's not going to get you anywhere. So what do? You focus on what you can control. You focus on how you respond to what life throws at you. And when you do that, something amazing happens. You free yourself from unnecessary stress. You start to feel more at peace because you're not fighting battles you can't win. Now, I'm not saying you should give up on everything. I'm saying you should pick your battles wisely. Ask yourself, is this something I can change? Is this worth my energy and focus? And if the answer is no, then let it go. Move on. Save your energy for the things that truly matter. Think of it like steering a boat. You can't control the wind or the waves, but you can control how you steer. You can adjust your sails, and if the storm gets too rough, you can decide to drop anchor and wait it out. It's not about giving up, it's about being smart with your energy. So let go of trying to control everything around you. Focus on controlling yourself instead. Control your actions, control your attitude, control your effort, because that's where your real power lies. And when you focus on what you can control, you start to feel more confident, more capable, more in charge of your life. Life is unpredictable. That's a fact. But it's not the unpredictability that causes stress, it's how we react to it. So take a deep breath. Accept what you can't change. And take charge of what you can. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel when you stop carrying the weight of things beyond your control. 7, seek balance, not perfection. Let's be honest, perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. But balance? That's something you can strive for. And it's much more rewarding. Life isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about finding that sweet spot where you're making progress without burning yourself out. Think of it like walking on a tightrope. If you lean too far in one direction, you're going to fall. But if you find your balance, you can keep moving forward. The same goes for life. Too much work leads to burnout. Too much rest leads to stagnation. The goal isn't to avoid work or rest, but to find that point where both coexist. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. It takes effort to find that balance, and it takes even more effort to maintain it. But when you do, life becomes more fulfilling. You start to feel more in control. You start to see progress without sacrificing your well-being. So how do you find that balance? First, get clear on your priorities. What matters most to you? Your health, your relationships, your career. Once you know your priorities, it's easier to allocate your time and energy in a way that supports them. And remember, balance doesn't mean equal, it means appropriate. Sometimes work needs more attention. Other times, rest does, and that's okay. The problem comes when we strive for perfection instead of balance. When we try to do everything flawlessly, we end up feeling overwhelmed, disappointed, and discouraged. But here's the truth: life is messy. It's imperfect. And that's okay. The goal isn't to get everything right, it's to get the most important things right. Think of balance as a dance. Sometimes you step forward, sometimes you step back, and sometimes you just need to pause and catch your breath. It's not about rigidly dividing your time, but about being flexible and adaptable. So don't aim for perfection, aim for balance. Aim to make steady progress without sacrificing your health, your relationships, or your peace of mind. And remember, balance isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's something you continually work on, adjusting as you go. When you let go of the need for perfection, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. You start to feel more relaxed, more focused, more capable, and that's when real growth happens. Not in the pursuit of perfection, but in the pursuit of balance. 8, surround yourself with quality people. The people you spend time with can shape your life more than you realize. They can lift you up or they can pull you down. And here's the thing: you become like the people you spend the most time with. Their habits, their attitudes, their energy, it all rubs off on you. So take a look around. Who are you spending your time with? Are they encouraging you to grow? Are they challenging you to be better? Or are they holding you back, keeping you stuck in old patterns? Because if you're surrounded by negative, complaining, or unmotivated people, that's going to influence you, whether you realize it or not. It's like this: if you hang around 5 successful people, you're likely to be the 6th. But if you hang around 5 negative people, you're likely to be the 6th in that group too. So choose your circle wisely. Seek out people who inspire you, who push you to reach your potential, who hold you accountable to your goals. And this isn't just about cutting people off, it's about being intentional with your time and energy. It's about recognizing that you have a choice in who you spend your time with. And that choice matters. Now, this doesn't mean you should avoid everyone who's struggling or going through a tough time. It means being mindful of who you let influence you. Support those who need it, but also surround yourself with people who are on a similar path to growth. And remember, quality over quantity. It's not about having a large circle, it's about having a strong one. One filled with people who lift you up, encourage you, and challenge you, people who are driven, positive, and focused on growth. Because those are the people who will help you stay motivated, stay disciplined, and stay on track. And one more thing: be the kind of person you want to be around. If you want supportive, positive, motivated friends, be that person first. Set the example, lead by action, and you'll naturally attract the right kind of people into your life. So surround yourself with quality people. People who push you to be better, who inspire you to grow, and who hold you accountable. Because at the end of the day, who you spend your time with matters more than you think. Choose wisely and watch how your life begins to change for the better. 9, practice gratitude daily. Gratitude, it's one of the simplest concepts, yet one of the most powerful. It's easy to get caught up in what's going wrong and what's missing or in what's not yet achieved, and if you focus on those things, that's all you'll see. But when you shift your focus to what's good in your life, everything starts to change. Your perspective changes, your energy changes, and when your energy changes, so does the way you approach each day. Gratitude is more than just a positive attitude. It's a conscious choice. It's a decision to look for the good, even in the midst of the challenges. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore the struggles, but when you balance those struggles with an awareness of the good things in your life, you build resilience, you find strength, you develop a mindset that isn't easily shaken by life's ups and downs. One of the simplest practices is keeping a gratitude journal. Just 3 things every day. 3 things you're thankful for. It could be something big like your health or your family. Or it could be something small like a good meal or a sunny day. The size doesn't matter. What matters is the habit. Because when you make gratitude a daily practice, it starts to rewire your thinking. You start looking for things to appreciate. And what you look for, you find. Here's the thing: gratitude doesn't change your circumstances. It changes you. It shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. And that shift in focus creates a shift in attitude. When you're grateful, you're more optimistic. You're more resilient. You're more open to opportunities. Think about it like this: life is like a garden. If you only focus on the weeds, that's all you'll see. But if you focus on the flowers, you'll appreciate the beauty. Gratitude is what helps you see the flowers. It doesn't mean ignoring the weeds. It means acknowledging that there's beauty amidst the challenges. It's easy to get caught up in wanting more success, more recognition, more comfort. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more, but don't let it blind you to what you already have. Gratitude is the balance. It's the reminder that while you strive for better, you can still appreciate the present. So here's the challenge every day. Take a moment to write down 3 things you're grateful for. Do it consistently, and watch what happens. Watch how your mindset begins to shift. Watch how you start to notice the good things more often. And as you do, you'll find that the challenges don't seem as overwhelming. The setbacks don't feel as final, because gratitude gives you perspective. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you that even on the toughest days, there's still something to be thankful for. And when you live with gratitude, you live with a sense of abundance. You approach each day with appreciation instead of entitlement. And that shift, it changes everything. 10, cultivate patience with the process. Patience, it's a word we don't hear enough these days. We live in a world of instant gratification. Fast food, same-day delivery, results at the click of a button. And that's fine for small things. But when it comes to real, lasting change, there's no shortcut, there's no quick fix. Real success takes time. Real growth takes time. It's a process. And processes can't be rushed. The biggest mistake people make is giving up too soon. They start strong, but when the results don't come quickly, they get discouraged. They lose faith in the process. But here's the truth: the most successful people are the ones who stick with it, even when progress feels slow. They understand that every little effort compounds over time. They have patience with the process. Think of it like planting a seed. You put it in the ground, you water it, and you wait. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust that with time and consistent effort, that seed will sprout. That's how life works. It's not about doing something once and expecting instant results. It's about doing the right things consistently over time. Patience isn't just about waiting, it's about trusting. Trusting that the effort you're putting in now will pay off later. Trusting that small, consistent actions lead to big results over time. It's about understanding that setbacks and challenges are part of the process, not signs to quit. Here's what happens when you rush the process: you miss the lessons, you miss the growth, you miss the opportunity to build resilience, to develop character, to gain the experience that will serve you later on. Because the journey is just as important as the destination. And sometimes the journey takes longer than you expected. And that's okay. As long as you're moving forward, you're making progress. It's easy to get frustrated when you're not seeing results, but remember, this growth happens below the surface, long before it becomes visible. It's like that seed in the ground. Just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not growing. So keep watering it. Keep taking the actions, keep showing up, even when it feels like nothing's happening. Because every effort counts, every step matters. And one more thing, enjoy the process. Don't just focus on the outcome. Take pride in the small wins, celebrate the progress, no matter how slow it feels, because the process is where the real growth happens. It's where you build the habits, the discipline, the mindset that will sustain you long after you've reached your goal. So cultivate patience with the process. Trust that your consistent efforts will pay off, even if it takes longer than you expected. Because success doesn't come overnight, it comes over time. And if you can embrace that, you'll find that the journey is just as rewarding as the destination. These 10 principles might seem simple, but don't let that fool you. The magic is in consistently applying them over time. That's where most people fail. They want results without putting in the work. But if you can commit to these ideas and practice them daily, your life will change in ways you never imagined. So to recap, keep learning, take responsibility, manage your time, say no, build discipline, let go of what you can't control, find balance, choose your circle wisely, practice gratitude, and be patient with the process. These aren't quick fixes, they're long-term shifts in how you approach life.